Hi, Miss.
So, okay, so the destruction of the Sennacherib. What is a Sennacherib?
Uh, I think if I'm not mistaken, a Sennacherib, isn't it like a king?
Is the name of
I
the
think he
king,
was a
the
king, right?
Assyrian king, the Assyrian
Yeah,
king.
no, 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 the Iraqi king. His name was Nimrud, if I'm not
Oh, okay,
mistaken.
so it's from this. Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah, so you know
Uh,
Nimrud, right? Like in the Quran.
yeah.
Yeah, so I think his English name was Sennacherib.
Oh, okay. All right. This is an interesting one.
Okay,
All
wait, let me
right, so
search him up.
the,
Let me search him up.
mm-hmm.
Uh, yeah, here. So Sennacherib was a king of Neo-Assyrian Empire, best known from the Bible and his siege of Jerusalem. Oh,
Okay, so the Assyrian king came
yeah,
down like a wolf on the fold. So we have just opened up with a simile, like a wolf
yeah.
on the fold. What do we mean by wolf
Wow.
on the fold?
Symbolism of a wolf.
Yes, absolutely. So we're using a wolf to kind of symbolize here, but what
His
else?
fear, how fearless he is, or how strong he is, his courage, his
Mm-hmm.
ambition.
But why use wolf? Why use this
Because
animal? Why not use a
because usually
tiger
there's
or
like
a
a
lion?
really like there's so many like like not anecdotes, but like so many scenes that they're like they're running like a herd of sheep running away from wolves,
Yeah,
or like the anecdote of
exactly.
or like the anecdote of like
Exactly.
the wolf coming and that boy saying, oh, there's a wolf. There are like
Mm-hmm.
so many
So
English sayings or parables which relate to wolves.
So the wolf is preparing to attack a flock of sheep. That's what it's all about, isn't it? That's the reason why they use the simile. So wolf, uh, preparing. So there's showing some symbolizing some strength here.
Yeah, courage.
Yes, okay, and preparing to attack like a flock of sheep. So telling us that the other party is a lot weaker.
Hmm.
Okay, all right. So we have a
Hey,
simile.
you
Some
forgot how to spell a simile?
oh, it's like simile. Simile. Okay. Anyways, it's okay. No big deal. And these cohorts were gleaming in purple and gold.
Symbolism of purple and gold, colors, use of colors.
Okay. All right.
By the way,
Anything else?
that
Hmm.
came in my unseen poetry for what do you call it? For my uh literature paper two.
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday, uh
Hmm.
I compared the two unseen poems and I used this technique.
Okay. So, so since you've kind of done the poem, let's be a bit more
No, I've not
confident.
done
And
this
his
poem.
okay.
I just said I was
All
using that
right.
technique. It was just a side
All right. So, and his
side fact.
cohorts were gleaming in purple and gold. So the soldiers of this guy's army, they wore purple and gold armors, right? So gleaming in purple and gold. So some adjectives being used here.
Yeah,
Description.
descriptive.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
descriptive.
descriptive. In fact, I should just write adjectives instead, right? So the gleaming in purple and gold, specifying the color. The reason why they might have chose gold to make it look more rich, more
Yeah.
dominant, more superior, and the sheen of their spears was like stars on the sea. Another simile. So the writer is used like a pattern of simile here, like spears like stars on the sea. What is a sheen?
What
Do we
is a
know what?
sheen?
And the sheen, their spears, the sheen
Oh,
of. spears, the sheen,
Oh,
some equipment in a soft surface.
yeah,
The
soft
Sheen clothing
surface, a
brand just came
shiny,
up.
shiny surface.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. The clothing brand just came up, but okay. When I
Yeah.
googled it, on the Sheen of the spears was like stars in the sea. So their armor was all bright, all the you know, um, shiny. So we could,
But why
don't
why
you think that
stars on the sea? Shouldn't it be stars in the sky?
think about why stars in the sea?
But like at
That's
night,
exactly
like
what I was going to ask you.
the stars like reflect off the sea.
Okay, yeah. So you could actually say that, you know how they're shining and they're standing out in the darkness. You could say, right?
Yeah,
No? Are you there?
yeah, yeah, I'm there.
Okay. So yeah, so it's the shine, it's all standing out in the dark. That's how it is in the sea, right? So the shine is standing out in the dark. Okay, let's see. When the blue wave rolls nightly on deep Galileo. What is this? Galilee. What is that?
Oh, it's like so their spirits were as bright as a reflection of the stars on the sea. And you could also say such
Mm-hmm.
as on a wave of the biblical sea, the biblical sea of
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Galilee.
Yes.
Yeah,
Galilee.
yeah,
This
Galilee.
is a very
It's a biblical
historical phone,
sea.
right?
Yeah,
Galilee is a place in Israel, so
it's a place in where?
in Israel.
Oh, in Israel.
Yeah. Located in northern Israel and southern Lebanon. It's a mountainous place full of mountains. So when the blue and oh yes, and then it's got this whole blue sea right beside it. So it's on that surface. So you could say, yeah. So when the blue waves roll nightly on the deep Galilee, so this would simply imply, so not only is it implying informing the reader about the location, but also telling us that the blue wave rolls nightly on the deep Galilee. So it's telling us, it's creating kind of an impact. The fact that it's deep, it's nightly. So it's telling us that it's dark,
Yeah, yeah,
it's deep, kind of creating a bit of a mysterious and a
yeah.
war
Sense of mystery.
element. Yes, mystery and a warlike, setting. Like the leaves of the forest when summer is green, the host with their banners at sunset were seen. Some rhyming
Oh,
here.
wow. Couplet. That's
Okay.
so nice.
Yeah, and then blown and strown. So it's like an
Could you say it's an AABB
AABB.
mock? The
Exactly.
AABB
Yeah.
rhyming scheme.
Yes. AABB exactly. Jinx. So like the leaves. So the Assyrian, they appeared in they so um if you look at like the leaves of the forest when summer is green, so they're actually talking about the army over here. And do you remember
Yeah, you
in
could say they're
Macbeth?
using the symbolism of nature.
Mm-hmm. But you remember in Macbeth, towards the end when the army is coming and they're coming in like with the trees
Yeah,
and how
yeah,
the
yeah,
trees
yeah.
are coming closer. That's exactly what's happening over here.
Yeah. So like they appeared like green summer leaves.
So they were basically camouflaged in the green. You know how the army, the green camouflaged tree-ish costume that you have. So they basically
Yeah,
were dressed up in that. So like the leaves of the forest when summer is green, and their banners were visible at sunset. So, so they were more it, in dark they were more visible, and then during the day they basically dressed up in the green, grassy costume. And
yeah.
yet the next day the look like autumn, like scattered. So they're use the different seasons to kind of describe them. If you see, and that's perhaps the reason also why the poet has used a rhyming scheme, because they've kind of made this in such a way. They've talked about the four seasons.
Yeah. And
So
if you see,
autumn, winter,
if you look at the next
summer.
line, okay, no, that's not winter, that's withered.
Oh, sorry. Oh my God, I'm
Like
blind.
the word like
Okay, they're
scattered.
talking about okay,
Yeah, so
okay, okay.
you could say, look at the start of the stanza, it says like, oh, look at the soldiers so mighty and so strong. And the next day, okay, they
Mhm.
look like autumn leaves scattered by the wind.
Yes, okay. So
Like they
then they were
died.
scattered.
It's like a theme of death.
Uh-huh. Okay. Mm, they were scattered. So they felt so weak that they were all scattered by the wind. That's what you could say. Okay. Like the
Yeah.
leaves of the forest when autumn hath blown, that host on the morrow lay withered and strown. So withered, weakened, right? So they'd kind of weakened, um and so on. And then we've got, for the angel of death spread his wings on the blast and breathed in the face of the foe as he passed. Okay, go on. So what do you think?
You could say more or less it's like the theme of God. It's talking about the angel of death.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and also it links to the last stanza, it says like all the leaves of autumn, like all the leaves of the forest and autumn had blown. It says like the angel of
Okay.
death flew down and like killed the army, like,
So yes,
and
all
then
right.
it breathed in the face of the foe, which probably in this case is the Assyrians.
Your voice is gone.
Hello, can you hear me, man?
I do hear.
Hello?
Abbas, am I audible?
Yeah, can you hear me? Hello? Hello? Hello?
Abbas, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Okay. Sorry, you were saying something. Carry on.
I was saying, I was saying, um, uh, it's like the angel of death came down and he killed them. It's like linking to the last stanza where it says like the leaves of autumn.
Mm-hmm. Okay. For the angel of death spread his wings on the blast. So we're relating, yes, okay, there is a theme of death over here, and this is in the third stanza. It's actually how the destruction of the Sennacherib king is actually happening over here, right? The death angel has come, right? So in the third stanza, the destruction of the Sennacherib, that's what we call him, right? If I'm not wrong.
Yeah, Sennacherib.
Yeah, so that's making his appearance, and if you see that the writer, he is, well, so we've there's imagery, if you see, and breathe in the face of the foe as he passed. You know how this is literally imagery, isn't it? So it's really visualizing what actually went down, you could say. Uh,
Yeah.
the poet is, kind of illustrated an imagery over here, if you see. And there's something particularly so, and the eyes of the sleepers waxed deadly and chill, and their hearts but once heaved and forever grew still. So the entire stanza is actually, imagery. Why? Because look, the eyes of the sleepers waxed deadly and chill, and the hearts grew still. It's like so again, there is blast and past, chill and still, and A B B rhyming scheme, and
Yeah.
alongside, if you see, so how I think the poet Byron, he is describing the angel of death in great detail, and how the angel of death, his wings on blast, telling us how huge, massive his wings were, and the how his moves are so slow. He breathed in the face of the foe as he passed. He's making each step, each uh, aspect of, taking his life out of his body in very slow. Sleep eyes of the sleepers wax deadly and chill, and their hearts but once heaved and forever grew still. So this specific stanza is focusing on death, for sure. There's that. But it is very well described by the poet, where he's still breathing, and then it actually helps the reader to understand the face of the king, who is the king, right, who is destructed here.
Yeah.
And yeah, so we have this, and then we have, and there lay the steed with his nostril all white. So, he's still continuing to describe how he appears when he's dead. But there, through it there rode not to breath of his pride. Also informing the reader about a character trait of this king.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
his pride is all gone down drain. So his character trait, we find out about what his character was. And so the writer is introduced, the poet is introduced, the character as well. So he is the poet has gone further into explaining how, the dead soldiers, and how they're laying down with their nostrils all wide. And it's and then and the foam of his gasping lay white on the turf, and cold as spray. Can you notice something? As soon as he
What?
introduces death, chill, still, lay white, cold, he started started talking about how, you know because death is cold, right? Death is
Oh yeah.
still, right? So you could say
Yeah.
that there is some semantical field over here, right? How he's relating to death,
If
and
not, it's
how,
just there's also like most probably, like, could you say like there's something to do with like the theme of God,
yes,
like how
there is absolutely a theme of God.
yeah, if you see like down there's idols, angel of death, there's
Mm-hmm,
trumpet blown,
mm-hmm.
all of this, it's like kind of it's like you get what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So windows of Usher, Lord, trumpet blown, and then what else was it? Angel of death. That's your theme of religion and God, you could say, right?
Yeah.
So, um, you could say, um, if you focus a bit over here, and cold as the spray of the rock beating surf, Byron is describing over here an element of fighting, uh, as the way the horse dies, rock beating surf. He uses this as an expression which calls back the wilderness of the waves, forever stilled now. I'm just reading it off from an explanation that I'm explaining to you. In
Let's
terms of
look.
the horse. Mm-hmm.
Let's look. Can you see Ashur and Baal? So there are two
Here.
gods. There are two gods, which before they were like the gods of the Assyrian tribe.
Mm-hmm.
It's like idols. So you could also link to that, as context.
Where are the idols? What am I missing? Where is it? Oh, there we are. Okay, I should have
Yeah,
highlighted
see
it.
Ashur and Baal. Idols are there.
Idols, temple of Baal. Yeah. Okay. Loud in their wail. Okay. So let's okay. So and there lay a rider, distorted and pale. Um, again, let's highlight this as well. Again, it's pale, distorted, cold, chill, still, with the dew on his brow and the rust on his mail. And the tents were all silent, the banners alone, the lances unlifted, the trumpet unblown. Okay. The trumpet is blown when you win the war, but the trumpet wasn't blown.
Yeah, sorry, miss.
Yeah, that was a very scary sound. I mean, considering the poem itself is quite scary, so
Yeah.
the weird sound effect not needed. So,
No,
so
it wasn't
if
me. It was
so,
my parrot.
oh, that was very scary. Thank God I don't have a parrot.
No, no, it like just got stuck, so it was like
Okay, so look at this. Okay, so there's a rider, distorted, pale, and then there is the tens are silent. Okay, if you notice, there is if you look at that, so the peacefulness of death to of the rider, how the rider is all all um they're dead, they're pale, they're distorted, they're disconnected. How there is dew on his brow and the rust on the rust on his mail. You know, how the tents were all silent and they were quiet. There is so much stillness
yeah,
as compared to the
yeah,
wild death. So
yeah,
of the horse over here, if you see, so
yeah, yeah,
this
yeah. I get you.
death is how silent. Meanwhile, this
Hmm.
death was quite, not loud, and how the death angel, um, you know, had this entire process of taking life out of this particular character. So there
Yeah.
is a comparison done over here. So there's a lot of stillness in this particular stanza of death. So there is such silence when if you look at the previous stanza, there was very little as compared to this. So none of the soldiers over here, they fought back. This is what we find out over here. So the none of the soldiers even bothered to fight back, fought back, right? Because none of the
Yeah.
soldiers knew what had happened to them. Death was very sudden, and it just happened real quick for them as compared to the angel of death. Look
Yeah.
at how, so here the death is slow, but in terms of this stanza, the death was very instant.
Uh-huh.
So the poet is compared the two different.
Juxtaposition, yeah.
Mhm. Okay, the two stanzas are comparing. Now we're on the last stanza. Says, and the windows of Asher were loud in their wail, and the idols are broke in the temple of Baal. And when they win the war, and then they break the temple and the idols. Um,
Yeah, yeah,
and the might of the Gentile, unsmart by the sword, hath melted like snow in glance of the Lord. So it tells us that the opposite party is, the destruction of Sennacherib, that has returned, and but it's not so. They've won, right, and they've come and they've broken all the idols in the temple of Baal. So it's don't so if you look at this, and if you look at how the temples were, the idols were broken, just how the army was broken as well. So they were like killed.
yeah,
So the army was, you could say, broken, killed. Meanwhile, so were the
yeah.
idols. So the
Uh-huh.
idols, you can, if you visualize, the idols are, shut down, killed in the temple. Meanwhile, in the tents, the entire army is, shut down and thrown, right? So that you could say that it is a comparison over here as well that the writer has done, showing that whatever happened to the army of Sennacherib is almost
Yeah.
capacity, right?
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
So that's what it is.
What a poem.
What a poem. So much history.
So
But
much.
I'm pretty sure there's a lot more, a lot deeper meaning to it. Like history, if you study a little bit and, research about the historical background,
Uh-huh.
I'll see if I can
Yeah.
find something. So it's you should check out the real history behind it, because there's great history behind this. And let me see if I can find anything, and I'll send you the link for it,
Yeah.
because there's a lot of it. There's a historical background as well, and there's all about the king of Sennacherib. He was the king of Assyria from 107 BCE to 681 BCE. He was primarily remembered for his campaigns against the Babylon and Judah, and for his
Babylon.
assassination Babylon, in which something something. And even it's also recorded in the Bible's book of Kings. This is, however, not only okay. So this is some great history. You should check it out. Mesopotamian king within, right? Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's the poetry analysis, but I think it's so interesting. You should definitely check out the
Yeah,
history.
there's a lot more history, yeah, behind it.
Yeah. But
100%.
if we are to look at the poetry analysis, the rhyming scheme, I believe, is AABB. Fold
Yeah,
gold,
AABB.
Sieg lily, green scene, blown stone, blast pass. So
Blast, pastel, still,
yeah,
white,
so
bright,
that
clear, share, so on and
AABB
so.
rhyming scheme.
Yeah.
Similes, a lot of imagery, a lot of symbolism. I've sent you the
By
link
the
for the
way,
history.
by the way,
Mm,
the poem that came in the literature paper was Katrin.
okay. And
So I talked about the ABCB rhyme scheme,
mhm, we,
and
we,
I compared it with the poison tree.
I mean, if the class game came up, we would have thoroughly enjoyed it.
Oh yeah, but it was still nice. Like I wrote 3 paragraphs, and each paragraph was like one and a half page long.
Okay.